Hey, I'm Ben with Adventures on Zero, and in this video I'm going to show you how I reinforce these universal passenger armrests for my Jivvy panniers. You can order these off of Amazon or eBay. They're pretty much a dime a dozen. However, they're all pretty much made the exact same way, and you can reinforce it the same way. So the first thing that I did with this is installing, or at least drilling out the holes for the steel bracket. And so I used a little small 3/0 clamp to hold the bracket in place. This is exactly the height that I wanted to have it at, and so I took a 3/16 drill bit, punched both holes through, and then I took the bracket over to some aluminum angling. I think this is 1/8 inch or 1/4 inch. Marked the edges of it, and then brought it over to my miter saw, and this will become the back brace for the armrest. Now, if you don't have your own miter saw, you can use a hacksaw to cut aluminum. You can use any woodworking blade to cut aluminum because it's a soft metal alloy, and so it won't harm your blades at all. You may be able to get this done at the big box store that you get your aluminum at. So now with it roughly the same size, I'm going to get a rubber mallet and I'm going to hit it down and form it to be close to the same angle as the inside corner of where I want to brace it. And so I'm just using that steel bracket as just a gauge, more or less, to get it close. And then next I'm gonna take it to the angle grinder, knock down that corner a little bit, soften it up so that way it actually fits in the inside corner, which you see me doing here. And I'm just doing a test fit. Again, when you do this, you want to just kind of take your time with it, go slow with it. You don't want to over bend this aluminum because it will break after a certain extent, so just take your time with it. And so now I'm taking the same drill bit and I'm just marking the holes on the other side of this aluminum plate, and then I'm taking it out to drill it by hand outside of the box. It makes it easier this way. And so now with both holes punched through this aluminum bracket, now I'm going to take a rivet gun and secure these to the box. You can see the opposite corner that I've already done the other bracket. I use a lot of aluminum to do modifications on my motorcycle. So having a rivet gun is super handy because I don't have to worry about getting wrenches in small places. A rivet gun, it just makes it so much easier. It's quick, it's secure. If you don't want to invest in a rivet gun, obviously you can just use some regular bolts and nuts here. Just make sure you use some Loctite, some locking washers, so that way they don't back out. With a rivet gun, it's not going to back out. Here I'm changing to a 15/64 drill bit, and this is so that I can fit the M6 bolts that will hold the armrest in place. And so what I'm using, it's an M6 by 20 millimeters, so M6 bolt that's 20 millimeters long, which is long enough to secure it through all this aluminum plating that we're putting on. And so here you can see how when it comes out of the box, it's really not good. You have to reinforce these brass eyelets with super glue to prevent the armrest from coming off like this, and it's not taking a whole lot of pressure. So now I'm just trying to get the other brass eyelet out of it. It comes with two. Here you can just see how easy it is to just come off. So that brass eyelet we're going to reinforce with some glue. First we're going to take a little drill bit and kind of dig out the channel, so that way there's a little bit of extra room for that M6 bolt to kind of come through. And then we just take our brass eyelets, we thread it on the bolt, and this just makes it easier to handle. I've got this is Gorilla Super Gel super glue, so it's a thicker consistency. It's not as runny as regular super glue. Kind of helps it stay in place. And then I'm going to take the rubber mallet and encourage that brass eyelet back into the hole, and this time with some super glue, and that should hold it in place. As of recording this video, mine have stayed in place, and that's been with a few passengers, so for right now it's holding. And you'll want to do this for both, and you want to be kind of quick because the super glue sets, or at least the one that I use, sets in about 45 seconds, and don't feel, you can do like a little bit of a dry fit first to make sure that it'll go in and out easily if you're worried about it setting before you can get it in, and just use your drill bit and kind of shave a little bit of the outside edges off of the rubber, and that way you can get the eyelets in a little bit easier if you're worried about it setting before you can get it inserted all the way in. And then just make sure you let it dry, and then take some Loctite after we put on the locking washers. Put on some Loctite, and then we're ready to install the armrest onto the pannier. And again, you want to move kind of quickly. You don't want to like freak out or anything, but the Loctite, it sets in about 10 minutes. And so you want to make sure that you're just ready to go, ready to insert it. I've already got the T30 Torx installed on my drill to make it easier to install it and quicker to install it. And then once you get these two bolts in, that's pretty much it. The armrest will stay in place, and it is pretty solid. I would not encourage people to lean their weight on it as they're getting on and off the bike, because it's a plastic housing and it's just, I don't think that it will hold